So the manticore is dead.
Yep.
Her frozen body is lying near the other exit there, and her nest is on fire.
Yes.
And we're still in the entrance passage, basically, that we came in through.
Probably a fair amount of smoke billowing past us.
There is a fair bit of smoke. We should probably deal with that first.
Well, it is straw. It will burn fast.
It will burn fast, yes.
We can just
Well, it's mostly
step
straw.
aside for a few seconds.
We could. Do you want to do that?
There's no point in burning spells for it.
All right, so we head back out. Well, I can just... technically, my crate water is a free one.
Oh, is it?
I can only do it once per day, though.
Yeah, so maybe something more important might come up than this.
All right, so by the time we head back out through the passageway we came in, our mirror images are gone.
Yeah. Well, they rarely go past one combat.
No, they only last a minute.
Yeah.
And we're both down a second level spell slot and 2 scrolls.
Yeah, that scroll has limited uses.
Yes, they were evocation combat. They're combat-based evocation spells. That's what they're for.
So anyway, yeah, I've been hanging on to that for quite some time now.
All right, so we take a step outside and wait a few minutes while the fire burns itself out and then the smoke clears, and we can breathe in the nice, refreshing mountain air.
Yeah.
To which we have an obvious choice now.
What?
We can either go back into the tunnel, which we just cleared out and deal with the manticore, or we can go into the main entrance if you really feel like
it. We've killed the monster. I'd rather go see what's in here.
All right. So, in short order, we head back inside.
Yeah.
Your light rock is still there because it lasts an hour.
Yep. I'm gonna pick it up.
So basically, from the between the light of that and the flickering light coming up from the other passages, which we now know about is there, most of this is lit now.
Okay. I did get a reasonably good look at that other party through my owl's eyes. I want to examine these bodies, see if any of them are from that party.
Without even making a roll, you can tell none of them are.
Right.
Just for the sake, just for the sheer fact that these bodies have been here quite some time.
Okay, then
most of them, they're basically skeletons with various degrees of equipment and clothing, which is still intact.
Then I would like to investigate the room, have a search.
Okay, well, I have a suggestion I make here. I did prepare detect magic for my prepared spells because I was considering we might need it in here, depending how.
Oh, yeah, you should have done while we're waiting for the smoke to clear. Ritual cast it.
I can start now.
Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna have a look around.
I'll ritual cast detect magic, and then I'll join you in a moment. All right. So, roll your investigation check.
23.
23 is quite good.
Well, I'm good at investigating.
All right. Yeah, so as you look through the bodies, of which there are 9 of, and the nest, of which is mostly now just charcoal and ash. There was some wood in here too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So she's not like a magpie. She doesn't store treasure in her nest.
No, manticores are less magpies, and they're more carnivores, just interested in meat.
Alrighty.
The nest is thoroughly destroyed.
Yep.
Yeah, and you don't find any bodies of any young manticores in there, in case you were. So you didn't burn. You didn't burn any to death. She also wasn't showing any real concern about the nest, apart from just annoyance the fact you basically set the place that she sleeps on fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, it's the same level of annoyance if someone set your bed on fire and you weren't in it. It would be.
Yeah, no, I'd be really more annoyed if someone set my bed on fire.
She was annoyed and she was angry with us, but that's basically it. There's no dead cubs to worry about.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Right. As you look through she's clearly been here for some time as you look through the bodies, because they've been stripped clean of meat, and most of their equipment's not in very good state of order as a result of that fact.
Yeah. All right.
There is one thing that does catch your eye.
Yep.
And it is basically the body that she landed on. The one furthest towards the other passage there.
So this one here.
Yeah, she's basically, her head is on its lower abdomen at this point, basically where she landed.
Okay.
Well, as you're looking through the body and looking through it, you find an intact amulet on a chain that is withstood the tests of time and, well, basically her brutality towards the corpse, as she was basically scraping every scrap of meat that she got off the bones.
All right.
All right, I'll give you a description of it because I have that written down. All right. It is a brilliantly cut black gemstone pendant on a delicate silver chain.
Sounds cool.
That is the one thing that, apart from just regular adventuring gear and weapons and armor, that have gone to deterioration in here. So this is something of interest, obviously.
All right, I'll undo the class and pick it up and walk over to you and wait until your detect magic is ready.
All right. It doesn't take me too much longer because you did spend a good time searching a relatively sized room.
Okay.
To neither of our surprise, the pendant is enchanted.
Cool. You know, school?
School of Magic, I look at it as abjuration. I believe its magic is protective in nature.
Cool.
We could identify it, but we've probably spent a fair bit of time in here anyway.
Yeah, we've killed enough time.
All right, I'm going to keep detect magic going as long as I can.
All right, got another 10
So you can
minutes.
write down your character sheet that you have that somewhere, presumably in your bag of holding.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going out. Actually, I think you want to go in the other way in the images, if I'm right. So we head out.
All right.
All right. So this. All right. So these don't meet up quite a way. There is a passage. There is a corridor between them.
Okay.
As we're coming out. So it does. Sorry? Yes, we're going past there.
All right.
So there is a corridor that goes down about 40 feet.
Okay.
And going off of my intelligence, I say, based on the location of the tunnel we came in and the direction we're heading in, I think this might hook up with the main entrance.
Oh, all right.
All right. So as we go along, I will need a
dragon head there.
There is indeed a dragon's head. Well, a statue, basically, a carving of a dragon's head on the wall.
Is it magical?
It is indeed magical as we come up to it, because it doesn't take us too long to get down here. It only takes us about a minute to go between that chamber and this one. And I say there's a strong school of evocation magic coming from that statue.
That's not a surprise.
No. We have encountered a similar statue to this once before.
Yeah, I recall.
It was in Vern's Run. It was the underground facility that we found the Arcanum in.
Yes, that one was operated by
a pressure plate.
Yeah. I'm going to kneel down a little bit ways back from it, and I'm going to see if I can spot a pressure plate.
That will be perception then. And my detect magic isn't going to be of any help, I'm afraid, because there's no obvious magical means of triggering this.
Well, perception will be... that's wisdom, right?
Yes.
20.
20.
Yep.
That's 30. Quite good. All right. You do see basically just one of the cobblestones that are basically the stones that line here. There is a slight rise to it, which you recognize as the obvious pressure plate.
Okay.
Yeah. It is well disguised. Someone who wasn't looking for it probably would have just missed it.
Is this well lit in here?
There is a faint, dim ambient light. You're not sure where it's coming from. It just seems to be emanating from some of the walls in here.
I'm gonna cast light on my end of my staff anyway.
Yeah. To be fair, you didn't pick up the rock, so
I did, but we were examining stuff. Anyway, I'd rather just have my staff.
All right, so you light up your staff.
Yep.
As a note, obviously, the other rock goes dark.
Yeah.
Minor point, but it does. All right. now that we've pointed out, we have the option of just stepping over this pressure plate, or we can disarm it if you want.
I'm not very good at disarming.
No.
I pointed
Also,
out to you.
Yeah, we pointed out to me. And if I'm right about the fact that this meets up with the other passage, we technically will have no real reason to go back this way.
No.
All right.
Step it over.
So we come into the central chamber. This place
roll?
has.
Wow.
Sorry?
And no roll. I'm happy about that.
No, you were able to point out the pressure plate. We were both able to step over it easily enough now that we know where it is.
Okay.
All right. So this chamber is relatively square.
I see that.
Yeah. All right. These are not walls that are fallen here. A lot of these things here.
Stuff?
Yeah. These were the remains of pillars and the ceiling. Remember I said it was caved in near the entrance? Well, this is just inside from that main passage. So the holes your owl saw in the roof, this is where all the rubble went.
Okay.
So based on our intelligences and just our general knowledge of the layout of the outside of this, we're fairly certain that this passage in the south of the image here is the way out.
Okay.
Okay.
I see it's furniture.
Yes, there is one thing which is relatively intact.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and my detect magic does detect something from that altar.
And what would that be? School.
It is. Well, I detect. It's very faint because it's inside, I think. But I say this doesn't have a proper. Doesn't fit into any of the schools of magic. But the magic. 1 second. That's a natural 20. Wow. Kind of unfortunate. Something is better than this. Is similar for this. I say, but the magic it's emanating is similar to that of a healing potion, but different. It's that same sort of magic. So I think its magic is restorative in nature.
All right. So if it's inside this, I want to examine this and look first for traps and then hopefully for a way of opening it up.
All right. Well, we can combine those into the same investigation check, so that's fine.
All right. Investigation will be a 24.
Okay, it is not trapped, but you do find a secret compartment, which is fortunately inside the altar itself, which is damaged. This is the best I could find. There's no book on it either or anything, but it is partially intact. And you find the switch, and you can trigger it to open the secret compartment if you want.
I will.
Yeah, you do. It slides open. All right, and inside is a small glass jar. It's about that big around.
Yep.
And it's just about this tall. It's a small jar. It's bigger than a potion vial, and it's got a sealed stop, basically like a wax. Basically like a cork and a wax seal, like on wine bottles.
Yep.
It's got that sort of seal. So something is meant to design to keep its contents safe.
Okay.
There, it's clear, and inside is some sort of white ointment.
All right. I take it.
Yep.
I assume that's where the magic's coming from.
This is indeed the source of the magic. That's the only thing really in here.
Well, it'll give us something to do if we ever get arrested in this place.
Yep. All
right. I suspect we need to head north.
Yes, that is the only real exit from this area. There is one other thing we do notice that is odd as we're now looking around as we're heading that way.
What's that?
Well, in addition to all the debris around here, there's these they're piles basically, not very large piles, of what look like almost white powder. And I'm looking over them and says, I don't detect any magic from these. But we're not sure what they are.
Does something poop out white powder?
Do you want to roll a nature check?
Sure. I have no idea.
You have no idea. My curiosity's peak. I'm going to take a look. All right, investigation. That was a total of 22. It's not bad. I did take some of it up and look at it. So I think this is some sort of, well, it basically is like powder dust. But I think it's metallic in nature. I watch as I reflects the light. It's some sort of metal powder.
Powdered metal.
Yes. Kind of white and silver in color.
All right. We're wizards.
Yes.
Is there a way of taking well, we know of spells like disintegration and stuff like that. Is there a way of reducing something to a pile of metallic powder?
I'll roll an Arcana check, and so can you.
14.
All right. All right, my Arcana check is 17. The only thing, obviously, disintegrate does come to mind as something that would reduce, and does reduce people to basically like dust. However, anything organic that was destroyed by a disintegration spell would not leave behind metallic.
Yeah, but if they were wearing metal.
As far as I can tell, just sifting through this is all metal. Or at least all. We don't think there's any organic material here in this powder. Just from that earlier check.
How many of these piles are there?
There are 6, and they are piles. They haven't really been disturbed that much. There's not a lot of passage of air through here, really.
Is there a pattern to it? Like they're set up somehow, and these things have, I don't know, rusted or whatever. Like there were objects that were in this room that have disintegrated over time, or is it just like a random pattern of things?
That would be an intelligence check, and it would be a relatively high DC.
Oh joy! Ah! Oh, I rolled well. Intelligence would be 21.
Their placement doesn't have any pattern to them that you can see. Some of them are grouped together, and some are far apart.
All right, so
you don't see any pattern to this, and they are basically just kind of like relatively neat piles. One's been disturbed now thoroughly by us, by our investigation. That's about it. All right.
Well, I can't think of anything to do with these, so let's just head on.
All right, as we're sitting there pondering, from the passage up ahead, we hear a vaguely familiar sound. Sounds like an explosion.
Oh, like some of the things I do?
You roll. No, it's fine. We do basically. It does sort of sound like, could be like a fireball, or up until very recently, yesterday, we used the glyph of warding. It sounds very similar to that. It basically sounds like an explosion of energy for all intents and purposes.
Oh, the other party might be setting off some of the traps in here.
Yeah, well, we've seen monsters. Presumably, there's traps in here.
All right, let's head.
We have already seen a trap, the dragon one.
Yeah, let's head north.
Well, they seem to be having some degree of luck with that.
You had to say that, did you?
That's not too bad. Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, I do have to do this. Okay. All right. Sorry, I know this is gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna try not to do this too often, but this was something that came up.
That's okay. I'd rather them be doing it than us having to take it.
All right. Yeah. And we do hear one sound that sounds like a little bit like a scream. Oh, right there.
All right.
All right. There we go. All right.
Let's head north.
Let's head north. All right. So this opens up into another passage.
Okay. Is there a map for that?
No, there isn't. It's a corridor again, and then it forks.
Okay. Can I?
Not like a Y fork. It's kind of like it's more like a T junction.
Okay. Can I ascertain whether the scream and the explosion came from either of those two directions?
You can make a perception check.
13.
Too hard to tell. This place would be a large echo chamber, so sound would carry.
Yeah. Can I examine the floor to see if there are footprints in the centuries of dust in this place?
You may. I'll give you advantage with that.
That's a better roll. 22.
All right. So there are two things you notice in here. Yep. There are indeed footprints, and they are heading down the right passage.
Nothing went down the left passage?
As far as we can tell, they went down there. Whoever, either if they were covering their tracks, they weren't thinking of doing it in here, or was the fresh snow, you don't know. So they headed down the right passage, and as far as the light gives off in here, which is just ambient, dim light, you see. We also have staff going. You see more of those piles of powder.
Are there piles of powder going down the left-hand one?
Yeah, they're basically, you just can see just two piles of it at the edge of your light cantrip, and so you think there might be a few more down there.
Both directions.
No, sorry, only down the right passage. There's nothing down the left.
Nothing down the left.
Yep.
So a glyph of warning, you can store a disintegration on it.
You can.
That'd be an awful lot of glyphs of warning. An awful lot of glyphs of warning. So
you have absolutely no idea what disintegrate would sound like.
Yeah. So we can follow them.
We could, or we could go down the other way if you want.
Or we can go left.
There are obvious advantages and disadvantages to both. One,
first, I want to go left because we don't know what kind of reception we're going to get from them.
No, and they have definitely at least been triggered at least one trap and taken damage.
Yes.
They might be in a foul mood because of it.
Yeah, and also if they are even remotely competent, which I'm beginning to doubt because they missed that salve.
They did. It was a low roll on the check for that. I did roll to see if they noticed that before we got there, and they didn't.
So they will have picked up some stuff, I'm sure. I want to go left. You?
I also think we should go left. If for no other, there is the obvious reason following them means we might have fewer encounters with fewer traps, but also they might, just as sheer curiosity and just adventure, they probably will have found stuff themselves.
I'd rather, and it also doesn't mean they're going the right way.
No, it does not. We do not know the layout of this place very well.
Sure. Let's go left.
We both are in agreement that we're going left.
Yep.
All right, so we follow it down about a good 50 feet.
Cautiously, eyes open.
Okay.
Because there are obviously lots of traps in here.
Yep, there obviously are. You can roll either investigation or perception with my assistance.
I'm going for an investigation because.
Okay, with my assistance.
Because because of my skills and also because the recent thing we figured out with glyphs of warding.
Yep.
Oh, that's terrible. 14.
14. Detect magic is still going at this moment. It won't last too much longer. It's only got a few minutes left.
Okay.
But all right. So basically, we follow along using my detect magic and your investigation. We come to another branch in the corridor.
Okay.
One continues on ahead into what looks like to be an open, which opens up into a chamber.
Yep.
And it also forks back to the north, another northern passage.
All right, let's check out this chamber first.
All right. And obviously, we haven't run into any traps so far. We are pretty confident in the immediate area that we're fine.
Okay, we are. All right.
Off of your roll and my detect magic, yes, that's where our source of confidence is coming from. Admittedly, your roll wasn't the best, but still, we didn't find any.
True enough, we didn't blow any ourselves up, so we're good.
All right, this room does have a chamber in it. I think we should go. I think it's 2 ahead.
Left or right?
That way, yeah. That's that. And next, there it is. Yeah, zoom in on that. All right, this is not a walled corridor down to this little little square room. It opens up into a relatively large chamber with this sort of walkway down to that platform there and opening over darkness.
Okay, so instead of this being
Walls. Yeah, this is the best I could do. There's also no railing, by the way.
So this is a ramp heading above
Basically,
space.
the passage, the corridor goes down a little bit, only a few feet, into like a staircase that opens up into a large chamber that is about a 50-foot square room.
Yeah.
And this passage goes along it, and and at the end of it we can see her treasure chest.
All right, I'm gonna have my owl pop up for a second.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have her just fly. So we're over at this end. I'm gonna have her fly over just a little bit.
Basically, we're outside the image, basically.
Yeah. Gonna have her fly over the side.
Yep.
Is this supported or is this free floating?
The perception, you can roll a perception check for her to see what she notices.
20.
It is free floating, which is the first thing that catches your eye.
So this is 50 feet of stone walkway.
No, it's about 25 feet.
Oh, 25 feet.
Yeah, the room is 50 foot square in every direction, but this only goes about the middle. And because while you're doing that, I do sense the fact that there is some magic in this chamber, which would just be because we're at the entrance. It would only go into about the walkway.
All right. Is there still rubble nearby?
No. Well, inside the room, yes, but sorry, in the room, no. In the passage behind us, yes.
Well, the passage behind us, pick up a rock, a good, nice sized rock.
Yep.
I'm gonna go into where this starts, and I'm gonna throw it into the darkness.
Okay.
And listen.
Okay. A minute goes by, and then you hear a distant impact.
A minute.
Yes.
All right.
It does. It's a long way down. I do have Featherfall prepared.
Yeah, well, we have enough time in that kind of a fall for us to decide which of us is going to cast Featherfall and still have plenty of time left over.
I mean, it probably will just be a split decision for whoever comes to it first.
Well,
yes.
Not faint of heart.
No.
Be very cautious.
I do point out that there is magic throughout this entire the walkway here, and my detect magic isn't going to last much longer. So I'm going to say it does appear to be transmutation magic.
All right. Keeping an eye out for traps.
All right, you can roll an investigation check. In order to investigate the entire walkway, though, we are going to have to walk along it.
Yep, that's going to do.
All right.
24.
Yeah. Okay. As we walk along this entire walkway up until the stairs that lead up to this little platform, there are no traps along the entire walkway.
All right.
As we walk along the entire thing, before my detect magic runs out, I can confirm that basically this entire thing has that same aura of transmutation magic around it.
All right.
By the time we get to the chest, though, my spell has run its course.
Well, 30 feet back, you would still have a little bit of it, wouldn't you?
Yes, but I don't detect anything from the chest. That could mean that it may not mean there's nothing magical in there. It could just mean this looks like a reinforced chest.
Yeah, this could be lead or whatever.
Yep, could be any number of things. Could be just made of a material thick enough that my detect magic does not penetrate.
All right, this is obviously some kind of trap. Because who goes to all this trouble just to hand stuff over to people? Also, anyway, it doesn't matter. Is there a latch on this?
There is.
Well, can I stand here?
Yep. So that's basically where we're standing at this point.
Is how far to here?
5 feet.
Oh. Mage hand?
You can cast Mage Hand, yep.
Try and open it.
Alright. It is not locked. So it opens.
Yep.
It's open.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing happens. It's not a small chest, by the way. It's about it is basically about a 2 foot high container, and right, which is basically it's 2 feet long, 2 feet high, and about half as thick, half as wide. Sorry. So it's a rectangular prism basically for all those purposes. In a chest, it's 2 by 2 and half as thick, basically. It's dimensions. So it's a deep chest.
All right.
So you can't. So from our current viewpoint, we cannot see inside it.
Well, it didn't blow up yet.
Nope.
I will cautiously approach.
Okay.
And see if I can see inside. Making sure, there's no pressure plates that I'm stepping on.
All right. Well, working out the previous investigation check, there's no pressure plates.
All right. What's in the chest?
Inside the chest, this is going to be a little bit of the Skyrim chests that you hate. It's like massive chest, and then there's just something very tiny inside.
One gold piece.
It's not a gold piece. All right, so yeah. So as you look in, and there is basically a small, just 1 foot cube, basically, floating inside this chest.
1 foot cube is not small.
No, not 1 foot. No. Sorry, not 1 foot. 1 inch cube.
All right, now that's small.
Sorry. Wrong dimensions. Just floating in the very center of the chest, just below the lid.
Yep.
There are runes engraved on it.
Yep.
And sitting atop this cube,
yep,
is a small pink gemstone that is shaped in a rhomboid shape.
One-inch cube with a rhomboid pink gem on top.
Tiny,
of it.
Tiny, like a die size, tiny, just floating, just sitting on top of it. The cube has runes on it, and as you look in, you can see runes along the inside of the chest as well.
Wow. I am curious.
Yep.
I also know this is going to be something's going to happen. There's a long way down.
Yes. You do know.
Yep.
That Mage Hand's maximum range is 30 feet.
Oh yeah, I know.
Which means you can technically control it from the outside this chamber. Unfortunately, you'd be grasping at something random.
Yeah, I can't see it, right?
No, but it is a thought that occurs to you.
Well, what I'm going to do to cut down on the randomness of this.
You could ask me to cast Detect Magic again, I suppose, if you wanted me to take a look at this.
No, it's fine. It's obviously magical.
Yes.
So we got the little cube floating in there.
Yes, it's about a one. It's a yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my hand, not my hand, but the mage
hand, I assume,
hovering over it.
Yep.
Right over it. So, and then I'm gonna back up to the maximum range. So I'm just outside the hole.
I assume you're having me come with you.
You can if you like.
Yeah.
Once we're outside,
yeah,
all I have to do is just have it grab and then pull back.
Okay. There is a chance this could not work, so I will. The hand doesn't have dexterity, does it?
No. It's merely an extension of my will.
All right. I'm just going to look at the spell specifics here for a second. Mage hand, 30 feet. Yeah. Doesn't have a dexterity. Yeah, so I can weigh anything carrying 10 pounds. That's not a problem. None of that is going to help. All right. I am going to ask for a roll here. I'm just going to, unfortunately, I think the only thing that I can say here is roll a d20. It's not your dexterity, so I can't have you add that either.
Just a straight number. It's an 11.
Okay, the DC was 10. So you can't feel your hand. It doesn't have any nerves, so it doesn't. So you see your hand go down, grab something.
Well, I see it go down. I don't see it do anything.
Yeah. You see it go down.
Yep.
You have the mental instruction to grab on that was beneath it. It's sunk into the chest.
It comes back up.
Comes back up. It is holding something.
Okay.
All right. You hear the sound of something from inside the chest impact inside the chest. And then there's a bright flash of light from inside the chest as all and suddenly a bunch of glowing green runes spread along the entire passage of this entire walkway.
All right. I have my hand move towards me as fast as it can, which is what?
It can move 30 feet. You can have it move 30 feet as an action.
Okay. And as it's moving 30 feet, I'm moving 30 feet.
Okay, so we're moving back. Yep. Okay, we can do that. Well, basically, a combat round goes by.
Yep.
And then we literally hear the sound of stone cracking and crumbling and do we look behind to see what happens?
Yeah.
All right. We just watch as, just looking, we can just see the base end of the the walkway from as we're going up.
Yep.
It just crumbles and falls into that abyss. And the chest is
I was kind of worried about that.
Your mage hand is a floating magical construct that lasts for a minute.
Yep.
It's outside the room. Where was your owl? It wasn't on the walkway, I presume.
No, I only had her pop out for just to have a look underneath.
Okay. So that's fine. We are currently now, basically, we ran 30 feet, so we're basically back at where the passage forks northward again.
Okay, I'm gonna have my mage hand come to me.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have it open up. What's it holding?
It is indeed holding that pink rhomboid gem.
All right.
It's just sitting there. It's a relatively nicely cut, beautiful pink gem.
I pick it up.
Yep. Okay, you pick it up. It feels cold. It's light.
I'll put it with the other two things we've gathered so far.
Yep.
We'll check that out later.
If it is magical, we don't know, unless you want me to cast Detect Magic again.
Not
Might
at the
be a
moment.
bad idea to cast it again anyway.
That's true. But if you're going to cast Detect Magic, I might as well cast Identify on one of these three things. I mean, we're not really in a rush here.
No, true. We have had a major time crunch element of it removed, but in fact, we've dealt with the core of the 7 forces.
All right. If you want Detect Magic going, I will spend the 10 minutes and cast Detect Magic. Identify on the Abjuration Amulet.
Oh, the amulet. Okay.
That is the first one we found.
All right. So I will cast Detect Magic, which technically means my ritual finishes first.
Well, time it so that I'm done, so that we don't waste any of its duration.
Okay, fine. So you can start a bit before me.
Yeah.
All right. So you identify the pendant.
Yep.
All right. This is a periapt of proof against poison.
Oh, cool.
We had the opportunity to buy one of these before, so we know what it does. And once you enchant it, it does not. It's one of a protective amulet that does not require attunement, and it completely protects the wearer from all poison damage and the poison condition. And I don't think I'm missing anything else. This, I'll get the dungeon message guide down.
The other question is, which of us would like to hold this?
That's the thing. Either of us can wear this now if they really want to.
Well, one of us should wear it because
while you wear it, the poisons have no effect on you. You're immune to poison condition and poison damage. That's all it does, but that's still not a small thing.
No, it's definitely not a small thing.
Well, poison is very annoying.
Yep. I recall.
I wouldn't say no to it, but if you wanted, you
then have it.
Oh, okay. I'll put the parry up down on my character sheet during my equipment. Here's my magic stuff. This later.
It is very handy. Of the two of us, you're the most likely to fail a dex save anyway, so.
True. Poison is constitution based, so.
Yeah, but usually it comes in some form of trap.
Or a creature, yeah. Either way, I'm not going to say no to it. There you go. I had some resistances before, but I have my first immunities now.
There you go.
All right. So,
North.
We're back in the corridor before this.
Yes.
Obviously, that was not quiet.
No, it sounded like a avalanche indoors.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wrong way.
You can just yeah. So we're not back in this chamber. We're in the corridor past it.
Yeah, we're up this way somewhere.
Yeah. So we have two choices that we know of at this point. We can go back the way the other party went, or we can continue north.
We're going north.
You're going north? All right.
Yeah.
All right. I will roll one more thing. Yeah. All right. We come to a chamber. We can move ahead a little bit, I think. I think it's 3 at this point.
This one?
Yes. So this is the passage we're coming from the south there.
Yep. Coming up this way.
Yeah. All right. So.
Wow.
So this is another chamber. It looks like a lot of its support pillars and the ceiling have collapsed in on itself a little bit.
Yes, I see all that.
All right. So once we come in here with the light source of our light cantrips, we can see that there is another passage off on the eastern side of the room there.
And that's the only one?
No, as we move a bit further in, we can see that there is another one in the north. I think if you scroll up a little bit, I think you can see it.
Can't. All right, hold on a second. I can. No, so there's nothing there.
Okay, there is one, but it's at the very edge there. I think it's just the fact that there's a hole. I think there's a hole in the wall in the picture. Yeah, there is a passage that way.
All right.
There are also a few other things of note in this room.
Yeah.
The first, of course, is the circle, which is visible.
Magic circle, yeah.
Yeah. It is carved into the floor, but there's some debris on top of it.
Is this reminiscent of teleportation circles?
You can roll an Arcana check with my assistance because we've both seen them before.
25.
This is not a teleportation circle. This is another type of magic spell involves a circle. This is a magic circle, literally, which has been rendered permanent.
Oh, okay. Someone does some summoning in here.
So with that 25, you can get some details of the spell itself. All right, so yeah, so let's see where it's at. Magic circle. So it's an abjuration spell. So it has a 10-foot radius around it.
Mm-hmm.
You also know that it'll affect, but it also will create a cylinder basically inside that circle, about 20 feet tall.
Right.
Protective magic, and basically, and you can. The way the spell works is you choose one or more following types of creatures when you cast the spell, which can be celestials, elementals, fade, fiends, or undead. And a circle, depending on which way it's orientated, either inwards or outwards,
yep.
It provides protection in whichever direction from creatures that type from the other direction.
From what I know of this, because it is in my school.
Nope, it's an abjuration spell, I'm afraid.
What did I say? Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Do I know what this is set for?
As you're looking around the runes, and as it says, it can be set for one or more of them. And because it's a permanent circle, it is set against all of them.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So the creature can willingly enter the circle or leave it if it's set in reverse. It has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets within or without the circle. And nothing from inside or outside, depending on what it's set, can be charmed, frightened, or possessed by the creature.
What's the casting time on that spell? I know it's fairly lengthy.
1 minute.
Yeah.
But this has been made permanent, so it's not a problem. You also know from that roll that this circle is set to, its magic is set against everything inside it. So this is basically, the circle's been designed to contain the creatures inside.
All right. I see a chest.
You do see a chest. It's just off to the side there.
Is it radiating magic?
No, it is not.
All right, I want to go over to the chest and see a little bit of examination, see if there's any traps.
Okay.
Terrible roll. 16.
16. All right. As you're not sure, you don't think it's trapped. You're looking around it, but you notice there's something odd about this chest.
What's that?
You're not sure how to put it into words.
Okay.
There's something there's something you've noticed when you're looking through this, and just there's something in the back of your mind saying there's something odd about this chest. It's not trapped, but there's something else.
Is it a mimic?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to step back 30 feet and firebolt it.
All right. Make an attack roll.
That'll be a 21 to hit.
All right. Yeah, that hits.
For 11 points of damage, if that matters.
All right. The firebolt splashes across the surface of the chest, and it lets out a shrieking noise as the firebolt hits it.
Yeah. So I take it we're rolling initiative?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a 13 this time.
I rolled a 17.
Woohoo! You're doing really well in initiative lately.
I am at the moment, yeah. The mimic rolled a 15, I'm afraid.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So, you're up.
I'm up first. Yeah. Right, there's one other. Yeah, okay. All right. So as we see the mimic basically still retains largely the probably the shape of a chest, except now it's the hinge is up and there's teeth and there's a long tongue coming out and their eyes poking out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually encountered one of these in any game ever.
I don't know if this image is going to work, but that's basically what a mimic looks like.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yep. So what are you going to do to this thing?
Well, yeah, I am a first. Well, I am a little torn here because technically this thing hasn't attacked us yet. You did attack it. Yeah. So I think I'm going to hold my hand out and I'm going to hold Frostbite until this thing does something aggressive to one of us.
All right.
I'm going to ready Frostbite.
Yeah.
All right. It's done now. But it is going to move toward. How far can you step back from it?
I was 30 feet away.
All right, it moves.
Sorry, I'm not. Is there 30 feet in this room?
Yeah, you'd basically be up against the wall on the opposite side there, but you can move there.
Yep, that's what I wanted to do.
It moves up 15 feet towards you.
Yep.
And then uses action to move another 15 feet up.
Oh, there you go.
Right in melee with you, but that's what it can do.
It's slow.
It's slow.
That's good.
Your turn. I'm still holding Frostbite, but it hasn't done anything yet. It is in melee with you, I'm afraid.
Yes. Oh, still trying to conserve spells. That's the problem. The nice thing about this thing is it's slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a first level spell. I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat.
Yep.
I can't remember if I set my stone to Constitution saving throws last time because I had set it off.
You did change it, yeah.
I'll make sure it is Constitution saving throws now.
So you set it back to Constitution, that's fine. You never said you've changed it back, so we'll say it. So this is fine now. It's done now. Okay, so you have your Constitution bonus back, and you can move 60 feet without using an action.
Disengage.
As an action, you disengage, okay?
Then I'm going to move away from it as far as I can.
Alright. Where are you heading?
Well, I was here.
Yep.
I'm disengaged. I'm going to head back around this way. And how much movement can I have?
60.
Use my action. Use my bonus action. Alright, I'll just move.
Okay. So you're heading back into the room this way?
I'm heading back, yeah. I'm just circling around and heading this way.
You get to the opposite side of the circle, basically, from it.
Yeah, so right here.
Yep. Alright. So, at the top of the round...
You have to decide whether or not to shoot off your spell.
Well, I set the trigger for it was hostile action. It didn't do anything, so the cantrip is wasted.
Yeah, it didn't move, but that's fine.
Yeah. At the top of the round...
Yep.
There is a glow coming from that circle.
Oh.
Well, basically, the lines of the magic circle go dim for a second, but there is a second circle inside that which glows brighter as a whirling spire of flame shoots up into the air.
Okay.
You can roll an Arcana check if you want.
I will. Ugh, that's a bad number. 11.
Not high enough. This takes us a bit by surprise, and The fire forms into a large figure.
Fire elemental?
It does not match the usual appearance of what you'd expect a fire elemental. This thing is almost like a creature physically shaped from fire. It is serpent-like for the most part, except it has an upper humanoid torso. And it has a... It kind of looks almost eel-like in some ways.
Okay.
I'm going to try showing the image again because otherwise I don't think I'm able to describe this thing. There, that's what it looks like. Looks almost like a fiery merfolk in some ways.
Alright. I'm unfamiliar with that.
And you also know because the circle is, the magic circle's light is dimmed, this creature, if it is any of those creature types, is no longer constrained inside it.
Okay.
Alright, it gets its own initiative.
Yep. I'm gonna write down as a fire eel. And where is it in the order?
It has an 8.
So it's going last.
Yeah, it makes a dramatic entrance, but it still gets its own initiative.
Okay. So now we come to you. Where are you in this? Anyway.
Basically, I'm opposite it from you.
So you're over here?
Yeah, I was basically, a bit more on an angle. Further to the, no, wait. Further to the left. I was right about there, and you're opposite here on the other side by the fallen pillar there. And it showed up in the middle, and the mimic is where you were.
Yeah, it's up here in the corner.
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is let's see. I'm going to use a bonus action to see if I can tell what this thing is. And it's a 16. There's something about this creature, and it's the fact that it is basically an elemental of the opposite element of me that triggers something in my research. I say, oh great, a salamander.
I know what that is.
Yep. Oh, also, it has a spear. Well, basically, what's known as a partisan, which is a long pole arm. It's like a trident, except instead of having all its prongs going outwards, like you have like a fork,
Yep.
two of them curve outwards almost on the edge. Yeah.
Well, fire spells won't be any good against it.
No, I say, yeah. Unfortunately for you, this thing is immune to fire. With that roll, though, I say, fortunately for me, it does not like cold.
You're not going to be its best friend, Charlotte.
Well, it is... Well, this is a sizable creature, and it just showed up, and it's within range of my frost breath, and you're outside the range of it. The way we're positioned.
I would suggest you move first, because you're still relatively close to that mimic.
I can move afterwards, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't get both of them in it. The mimic and I am between the two.
Alright, frost breath it is.
The mimic became far less of a concern when this thing showed up, though.
Oh, yeah.
Constitution saving throw. It doesn't have disadvantage, but that's not very good. 10.
That's a fail.
Alright. 3D and cold. Oh, that's high. That is high. So, do you remember what the roll was when I first rolled Frostbreath the very first time I cast it? It was 3 9s.
It was what?
It was 3 9s. So 27. I rolled a 9, an 8, and 0, 0, which is 10 on a percentile die.
Yep.
So that's 27 again.
Wow.
So as I exhale the cone of freezing magic out that way, You can feel, you're just far enough away, you can feel the cold spell chill the air in your direction. But you hear this thing scream.
Oh, that's right. It's probably...
And the damage it takes is far greater than the spell normally would, even by that roll.
Wow.
It did not like that. Also, this thing cannot be restrained. Ice is currently rhyming its body and holding it in place, even though it is made of fire.
Yeah. Yes, magic.
However, you do notice that even as the ice is forming around it, it's starting to drip. This thing's body seems to give off its own heat.
Yep.
So it's probably not going to be... So this is probably not going to be a normal conditions for this spell. It might be able to break free with either greater ease, or it might just have to wait for the ice. The ice will probably melt a lot quicker around this thing. We come to the Mimic now. I'm going to move a little bit, so I'm just no longer between the two. So I'm basically moving towards the other exit from the room in the north.
So you are here, so you're heading this way?
Nope, I'm heading up on an angle. That way. Yeah. So come to about that. The Mimic rolled a natural one for its morale check.
It's running away.
It doesn't move very quickly, but you can see it suddenly lose the shape of the chest, and it becomes more of an amorphous blob. And then it just starts squeezing through some of the tiny gaps in the wall.
Alright. One target down.
In fact, you're not entirely sure that it was actually going towards you at all. It may have just been fleeing. Or if it is, or either way, it's doing it now.
Alright.
Your turn.
Well, I have some spells that will work on this thing.
Not Fireball.
Not Fireball. It wouldn't have been my choice anyway.
Yeah, it's like elementals are usually immune to their own element.
Yes. I don't want to cast any big spells on it anyway.
It took a severe amount of damage from the Frost Breath.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I am going to cast Chromatic Orb. Set it to cold.
Ah, that's a good choice, because you can choose the element for that.
Yep.
Alright, it is restrained currently, so you have advantage on the attack roll.
I like that. That makes it a 19 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage. So 3d8. 3d8, cold, right?
Yeah, 3d8. Well,
okay.
Times 2, I assume?
Doubles to 24. Alright, it's nowhere near as a severe reaction. Because there was obviously a pretty big gap in between the two damage rolls. But but it hits it and more ice forms on it, and it does not like that. The thing is not like being this close to cold and ice. It is definitely a creature of fire and heat, and we're subjecting it to its opposite. It's not enjoying this, and you can tell it's even in a short period of time. We've done a lot of damage to this thing.
Yeah.
Whatever magic is keeping it here is beginning to to flicker as we cause more harm to it.
Yep.
All right, it's its turn now.
Yep.
All right. Normally we'd roll.
Movement-wise,
right.
I have lots of movement, so I'm gonna move away from it as far as I can.
Okay.
Like,
you can move.
I'll be right here.
All right, so you're not leaving the room, but you're going back to the back corner.
Yep.
All right. Normally, we'd roll for whichever one it goes for. However, there are two factors that are in play here. One, I caused it a lot more damage than you did, and two, this thing comes from the opposite essence is of the opposite element of mine. It's coming from me specifically.
No, it doesn't like water.
Also, it's evil. Going to come up to me, which it can... Yeah, it can reach me without any difficulty. 30 feet of movement.
Thought it was restrained.
Oh, it is restrained. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is going to try and break free. Due to the nature of this creature, I'm going to give it advantage on the attempt to break free. Because it is already melting the ice. The ice is not going to last too long.
Okay.
Okay. So it rolled a 2 and a 5.
So it's
Plus
stuck.
4 is 9. It is stuck. And that's its action. It can't move.
It can't move. Does it
That
have
was
a
it.
ranged attack?
Well, it used its action, right? It's an action to break free. It doesn't have action surge. That's its turn. I mean, spears can be thrown. So
Oh,
that's its
yeah.
turn.
Your turn.
My turn. I'm. It can't. Well, it can't reach me, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit with frostbite.
All right.
Well, 14 does not save. All right, 5, which doubles to 10 points of cold damage. It has disadvantage on its next attack roll if it
It
decides
has
to.
taken 88 points of damage.
Still standing. Your turn.
Yes, I know. Running out of spell slots at the low levels.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to use spells against this creature because your cantrips can't hurt it.
No. Well, I'm gonna save my. Actually, no. I'm gonna use chromatic orb again, level 1.
Hold on, okay.
It's still restrained, which is nice.
Still has advantage. It didn't break free.
That's a 23 to hit.
That hits.
For 24 points of damage.
All right. As you unleash the chromatic orb, it goes right into the heart of this creature, and well, when you put a blast of freezing cold into a creature of roaring flames, there is an explosion of steam which fills the center of this chamber for a moment, and the ice which rhymed it shatters as well. Basically, this is the sort of result you get in Breath of the Wild when you shoot some sort of fire creature with an ice arrow or some other form of ice magic. That big cloud of steam, and it is gone.
Hey.
The magic circle returns to its light, glowing again.
I wonder what the trigger was for it. Using magic in here, or
You don't know.
don't know.
All right, well, the mimic is gone, and the salamander is dead. One slight tactical error I think I made on its part. I probably should have thrown the spear. It should have probably recognized the ice wasn't going to last much longer.
I would like to go and investigate this chest now, please.
I guess I didn't do a good enough job to hide that.
Well, you did initially.
Mhm.
It did take me a minute to spot it.
Yeah. All right, you can investigate the area.
I don't think there's a mimic under here. If it is, it's probably dead. But I'm gonna investigate the area. That'll be a 21.
All right. Well, the first thing you notice is as you move the stone and rock off of this chest, it is well, the simplest way to put it is it's not intact. Its lid is caved in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I open it with the damage that's been done to it?
You don't have to. You can reach inside it if you really want to.
All right. What's in there?
A lot of rocks and not a lot of anything else, I'm afraid.
pull the rocks out and see if there's anything else in there.
All right, you basically take a moment to empty the chest, and it is indeed empty.
Your detect magic should still be going, right?
Yes, I haven't cast any other concentration spells, so yeah, it's still going.
Is there any magic there?
Nope. The only source of magic in this room is still that circle.
All right.
I estimate about having about 3 minutes left in detect magic.
Let's continue north.
All right, so we go north.
Yep.
All right, as we proceed north, we hear the sounds of battle up ahead.
Ahead of us?
Ahead of us.
All right. Cautiously continue north.
So I assume that means stealthily.
Yes. Stealth.
All right, roll stealth check. That's cocked. That is a 19, though.
Same here.
All right, so we're fairly confident in our stealth as we approach, and as we approach, it does get louder and louder. You can move ahead, I think. The next one should be it.
This one?
Yes. All right.
Okay.
So we are. All right. So the entrances to this room aren't obvious, but we're approaching from the south on the west, southwestern side here.
So we're coming up this way?
So yeah. So as we come up, the passage does arc upwards, and we come out and realize why, because we're on a balcony overlooking a central chamber.
All right.
So this section here, all along it, is a balcony. And
all right, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
This is like the other one where this is a drop off, or
no, this is just the wall.
All right. So this is a wall. This is the balcony.
Yeah, we're on the balcony here.
Overlooking the central bit.
Overlooking the central area. Yeah.
This is below.
Yeah.
All right. Where's the sounds of battle coming from?
From below.
No. It's probably why I got so high in our stealth. No one looks up.
Yeah.
What do we see down there?
All right. So as we approach the edge of the balcony, we see a group of 4 individuals.
Familiar individuals?
They look vaguely familiar to you. Yes.
Yeah.
There is a figure there was the armored figure with the great sword, whom you saw previously. However, now that you look at this figure, you realize this individual is not wearing armor so much as they seem to be made of metal.
Oh, there you go.
This is some sort of artificial construct. However, there is an alertness to this individual that does separate them from just an ordinary mindless construct that we've encountered before.
All right.
There is a human woman
who
has the staff.
Yep.
And over her dark, basically almost black mourning clothes that look almost like suited for mourning, basically like a funeral. She has a red cloak with a hood up, and the other thing that strikes you out about this is the robe or cloak, whatever it is, has eyes all over it.
Oh, okay.
Now not just eye patterns; they seem to move a little bit occasionally.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There is the woman who was dressed in the someone who was with the hand axes who was dressed like a ranger before. A half-orc woman who is fighting with her hand axes. And then there is a large humanoid with the lightning bolt style spear who is a Firbolg, which we've seen before.
Yep.
And he also has as an instrument in one hand, attached to almost like around his neck by a cord, and it looks like to be an ocarina. He's got one hand and he's holding that. He's got the spear that looks like a lightning bolt from the other one.
All right.
At this distance, you probably estimate that probably is closer in size to a javelin than a full spear.
All right.
Anyway, they are in the center of the room. Sorry?
Yep. And they're in combat with?
They are in combat with, there are fewer of them now. It took time to get here. But there are 5 figures in this room, creatures up against them. 4 of which look vaguely similar to something we've encountered before. At first sight, we think they look almost like those. It's like if these things were red and black and had that black onyx material and had skull-like features and the sort of sinuous skin they had before, they'd look like the Keiko Demon pawns, but they don't. These ones are made of what looks like to be more of a metallic silver and a white marble look to them, and they have lines of energy running through them. And they don't look demonic in nature. They look almost the opposite.
Ah, these are the other ones.
And as opposed to the pitchforks, they just have spears, short spears with them.
Right.
They're flying around. And then there is the fifth creature in the room, which is very different. It looks almost like a moving statue.
Okay.
It has... Well, we've heard the description. If these are indeed the Agatha demons, to the opposite to the Keiko demons we've seen so far, the chess piece analogy is probably pretty close in to describe this creature. It looks almost like a moving statue or chess piece. It's kind of got a central, almost cylindrical shape until it comes up into basically what looks like a woman's face or like a sculpture of a woman's face, except there is only a single eye in its forehead.
So, like a queen?
You don't know. The other thing that is noticed about it is its head is almost concave, the top of it. Like there is almost like a bowl built into this thing's head, and it looks like, if you look at the back as we're seeing it, there's hinges for that to be pulled down almost.
Okay.
The construct nature of this creature is much more apparent than the other ones. You can roll an Arcana check because you did look at the Agatha demon.
Yes, I read that tome. Apparently, at the moment, I'm too awestruck.
You're fairly certain that the flying ones are the pawns because you distinctly remember them, both of them being described as having flight capabilities. Yep. You can't place what the last one is. This other one is.
But I do know they are good in nature, right?
They are, yes. Their alignment would be neutral good as opposed to neutral evil. However, even good aligned creatures who are positioned as guardians will function as such. And they do seem to be fighting down below.
That doesn't mean that... They also could be just defending themselves from an aggressive... We don't know what these guys are like, the adventuring party. They could just as easily be evil.
They could. None of them have noticed us yet.
All right. I'm going to whisper to you. Well, you know who these things are, right?
I put two and two together from, I was able to read the book as well. That's how we had their con.
Yeah.
Do we get involved in this, or do we leave them to sort this out?
The problem is, by nature, I come down on the side of the Agathas.
The Agatha demons, yes.
Yeah, because they are... Well,
they are the same alignment as you, yes.
Yes.
We know absolutely nothing about this other adventuring party.
I'm going to yell down to them if you don't mind.
You can. As you will definitely notice that neither side is pulling any punches in this. They are definitely both in full force of fighting here.
Too late, in other words.
This is a heated battle between the two of them.
The problem is, I'm terrible at persuasion.
You are.
And if they're in the middle of a battle, any kind of checks are going to be really, really high.
We are not hostile towards either group at the moment, so you wouldn't have disadvantage. Yeah. However, the DC might be higher because they're in combat, yes.
All right, I'm going to take a chance anyway.
All right.
I'm going to say it out loud.
Are you standing up or are you staying crouched where you are?
I'm going to try and stay... Well, actually, it doesn't matter. You stay hidden.
Yeah.
I'm going to obviously have to be visible.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say down to them in a loud voice.
Yeah.
Agatha demons, I know you are good in nature as am I. Why are you in combat with these individuals?
All right. Do these things speak common? I have to find my. They, a few of them look up towards you, but there seems to be no other response really. The other adventuring party obviously also notices you.
I said, these are good creatures that you're battling. Why are you battling them? I yelled down to the party.
All right. Let's see. Who it would, yeah. I want to use. Can I just get a general charisma check from you?
Sure.
Yeah.
This should be fun. Oh, roll reasonably well. With my minus, that'll be a 16.
Quite good. All right. So it at the moment, obviously, you've caused a lull in the combat.
Yeah.
The pawns are looking up at you, as are they. Only that that fifth Agatha demon doesn't seem to be paying you any real attention at the moment.
Right.
All right. Let's see. I am going to roll a reaction for this other party. That is almost fitting.
All right.
The metallic humanoid
Yep.
is the one who basically lowers his sword from one, looks up to you and says, "As they attacked us without cause." It says it seems that they are either acting under instructions to defend this place, it says, or they could not understand our attempts to reason with them.
They seem to be responding to me.
Well, they seem, near as you can tell, they responded to your presence. You don't know if they understood a word you said.
Yeah, he doesn't know that either. So, do I get the impression that they understand me?
That would be an insight check.
Yeah. That'll be a 6 plus. It is wisdom, so +1.
Yep. You're not proficient at wisdom. 7. Hard to say. You've never encountered these types of creatures before.
Yeah. Well, I said there's no reason to continue this battle, people. Just back away.
So they seem to be waiting to see what's going to happen in those moments. I'm going to see what the Agatha demons are going to do. Well, that is well, in response to what you're saying, you hear this low hum building up in the room, and as you look over towards the Agatha demon whose rank you cannot remember,
I was going to call it a queen.
Okay, a bright glow comes about the one eye in the center of basically what is basically the sculpted face of this creature.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. And then a bolt of lightning arcs out towards the party. It's not quite the full length of an actual lightning bolt. It's only about 60 feet long, but apart from that, it's quite similar. And yeah, it catches 3 of the party in its reach, I'm afraid. except for the knight-looking figure that you talked to.
Right.
It catches the other three. All right, what was the DC on this? Okay, okay. You're not in it. You are 11. That's a fail. 22. That's a success. And 20. That's a success. All right. The human woman in the robes fails. The other two succeed. Having to sort through a lot of character sheets here. Bear with me for a moment.
No problem.
Yeah, we do need that file folder. Oh boy, that's not a small amount of damage. Okay, so some of them are only going to take half of this. 16 points of lightning damage.
Well, at least it didn't shoot at me.
No. The human woman in the robe with all the eyes on it does not look to be happy about that. He seems to be the most hurt of all of them.
Yeah.
You're not sure you're going to be able to stop this fight at this point. That was
No, that was the deciding moment right there.
Yeah. I rolled to see how they were going to react, and that was how it reacted.
I'm going to step back to where you are and ask if
I'm basically still crouched down behind the railing beside you.
Yep. I'm going to step back so they can't see me, because they'll see me conversing if they look up. Do we want to get involved in this, or just want to head on?
I don't really see any point to getting involved here.
No, because my inclination would come down on the side of the Agatha, which means we'll be combating with unknowns.
On the other hand, that at least if 3 out of 4 of them seem to be willing to put an end to this fight, and they were just attacked.
True.
Some creatures are just like the salamander. There are just summoned to be sentries. Some creatures don't usually have their moral alignment doesn't have much of an effect on their job.
Yeah, but the ability to summon them for a negative thing when they're a positive individual is quite difficult.
Yes, but if they are just guardians of this place, there is protecting this place is not against intruders wouldn't be against a good alignment.
No, I suppose not. All right, I'll let them sort themselves out.
All right, so are we going to
continue north?
So I am going to ask for an initiative roll for this.
All right.
Because there is a combat going on, and we are technically in it.
All right.
That is, yeah. Bear with me while I add in a bunch of people to this initiative count.
Yeah.
So what's yours? We'll put yours in first.
14.
All right, I have a 17 again. Going quite well. All right.
Yeah, I've been rolling rather mediocre to poor.
All right, so that's. All right. As considering we might this could be very much a waste of time considering we might just be running through here and not getting involved. I'll set it up anyway.
Yeah.
It could. Wow. 20. Right, plus 2, yeah. That's a 17. So she'll be going before me because I had a dexterity. Aaron has an 11. And the Agatha demons. That is a. Wow. That's a 0 for one of them. That's a 21 for the hit. Yeah, 21 for the other ones. So the pawns have a 21, and the one which you couldn't remember the name of, the rook, has a 0.
What?
Right. Okay, so it's not a natural 20. So the pawns are going first.
Alright.
They are going to fly down and attack each of them. There's 4 targets, they're each going after 1. That's a miss. There's no way that hits him. No. That's another miss. That's a natural 1! Oh, that last one, I think. Okay, that last one should be a hit. Yeah, okay. 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 The Fearball is the only one who gets stabbed.
Well, at least it wasn't a hurt girl.
No, but he is the next most injured one of the party. He's actually based on his. He's taking a beating too. They're both bloodied, definitely. Alright, that's their turn. Alright, we come to the robed human woman now. Yeah. They're surrounded. She's going to do that. Alright. You see her reach and up to basically at her neck and pulls and grabs an amulet, which you recognize as a holy symbol, which many clerics carry.
Yep.
And she brings a staff, which now you get to look at it, it is a metal staff. It looks like it's made of some sort of, it's either mix of white and black metal, like almost perfectly along the shaft, evenly split. And it comes up to a pair of, basically, to a scale at the top, which she then brings down. The scale seems to move on its own as she moves it around. She slams that, and you hear her whispering, like an actual whisper of something. And then, let's see, 60 feet of you. Is she going to choose us? No. You suddenly feel, for lack of a better term, gravity shift.
Okay.
Towards her.
Okay.
Just reaches. Yeah, number of feet equals her width. Or 40. Most and we are outside we are either outside the area effect or it's not affecting us. But the 4 Agatha demon pawns and the rook are all pulled right into space beside her. Yeah, 40
feet. It's not
feet.
like a bright move for her. She's damaged.
All right, and each of them needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Wow, the rook rolled a natural 20. Rook's fine. The pawns fail with a 4.
Okay.
All right. And as she gets pulled right to her, you suddenly see this swirling, for lack of a better term, what looks like a black hole, or where basically, or in the space around her.
Yep.
And the Agatha demons get pulled into that. The rook is able to withstand the damage, but you literally watch as the 4 Agatha demon pawns get pulled in and are crushed by the intense gravity of this black hole style effect. They are not. It's not just force. It's you literally watch as it's like their bodies shrivel and wither as they're almost drawn into this vortex.
Wow.
You've seen necrotic damage before, and this seems to be what it is, and all 4 of them are killed by it.
Wow. There's a big spell.
Okay. So, we now come to the half-orc woman who's up next.
Yep.
She looks in a little... a mix of shock and amazement that says, well, I guess Electra decided that we are making this fight a bit more interesting. And turns to the remaining creature. And is going to... That's a natural 20. And that's definitely a hit on both of those. Alright. So, as swings with the first axe, you suddenly see two almost like ghostly images of the Agatha demon pawns appear beside the rook.
Yep. And
they seem to just be floating there, and as they both go up, for each of her attacks, they seem to divert her attention for a moment. Some saving throw. You're a ranger, don't you have right? That's a fail. And the one that would have been a critical hit is drawn towards the ghostly image and it vanishes.
Right.
We've seen the Keiko demons have a similar effect to this, but this seems to be done slightly differently. And the other one is an natural 20, so that one does go. That second attack does go through.
Alright.
And does 9 points of slashing damage to the rook. It takes the damage. Alright, so we come to me. And you're up after me, so since it's just the 2 of us, are we getting involved in this? They seem to be winning now.
No. Either we're gonna fight them. I would come down to the side of the... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just run. There's no point in debating this anymore.
We can make it... Well, if we want to get ahead of them, I do have a suggestion. It depends if we're burning through spell slots or not. I can tell... we can get out of this room in 2 rounds, basically. Or we can exit this room now if we use spells to get the rest of the way.
I think we're fine. We're not seemingly involved in this, so let's just run.
So we are going to run, and just for the sake of expediency, because this fight's not going to be over in a round, we are going to leave the combat behind us, and it's going to continue going for a little bit. I did want to give a bit of a showcase on what the Agatha demons in the party can do, but we do make it out of the room in 2 rounds.
Right. And just keep going.
And we keep going. All right. So we come to a corridor which continues on for a little bit, and we come to the next chamber, which you can go to the final one now. And the next image should be the last one, I think. There we are. All right. And
big hole.
Basically, that's a hole. So I couldn't quite articulate this properly, but basically the passage up ahead has, for all intents and purposes, caved in. And I probably could have done a better job of articulating what I wanted to do here, but this is basically a caved in section up ahead, and there's also a massive hole in the ceiling where basically there's basically a column of light from outside going down to this hole. If you look up, basically, this is another section where a large section of the ceiling, and possibly considering how far we're in, some sections of the mountain might have collapsed in at some point.
All right. And this is the end of this. This does not continue after here.
It's caved in up ahead, I'm afraid.
All right.
All right.
So this is the end.
This is the end of where we're going to, so we have to come to a decision. How are we getting down here? We do not have ropes.
We have magic.
We do.
I'm gonna pick up a rock.
Yep.
Cast light on it.
Yep. Okay.
This part you don't know. So might be where we call it.
Yep, we can call it here if you want, because this is basically all I have planned. This is meant to lead into your leg of this dungeon.
Yes, and it'll give away too much if I tell you what happens with that rock.
All right, that's fine. We can call it here because this is the end of what I had planned. We've had a first leg of the dungeon. It went quite well. I hope you enjoyed it. There was a lot of planning that went into this. And most of it worked out well, except for one thing. And the fact I didn't get I didn't get the three-way combat between the three parties.
Oh God, that would have been so bad.
It would have been bad because I was not looking forward to DMing this combat, basically, with the Agatha demons and that party and us.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me really wanted to get involved in that, but no.
No, that's fine. This is a nice place to call it because it leads nicely into your section.
Yep.
The other party has taken a beating. We made it through unscathed somehow.
Not a single hit point.
I know, we're at full health. What are the odds of that? We did, to be fair, burn through some spells and resources, though, so that does balance out.
Yeah, well, better use up a spell than use up hit
Take
points.
damage, yeah. So, on that note, thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe, and please join us here again next time for the second leg of this dungeon. And the race has definitely begun, and there's still two groups competing for whatever is at this mythical fountain that might be at the end of this.
But we're in the lead now.
We are in the lead now, which is not something. Yeah. Good night, everyone. Please join us here again next time as we see how this goes.
Yeah.